I don't know what is up with Gurdon right now, dude. I mean, I don't know if you got the same message I did, but he seems pretty beat up about his app not working out.
Yeah, and he also failed with the Wheel of Animal Under, so, you know.
Yeah, bro's just taking L's on L's.
Two
but
big whammies, one after another.
It's fine. We can see what's up. We can talk to him a bit. Which room is he in here?
This
is a big studio. Two. Okay, I didn't realize we had the budget for this big of a studio. This is crazy.
Yeah.
All right, room 2.
Hey guys, hey, what's up? Welcome to the podcast studio that we totally have had the whole time we've been recording. Yeah.
So, you want to
what's going
talk?
on?
Like, what's up? Like, what happened?
I put all my money into this podcast studio.
What?
We're gonna make it big. You know those numbers of the podcast when we watch it and people watch it and the number goes up. I got a bunch of emails from people that were like, "Hey, we're gonna help your podcast take off to the moon. All you gotta do is follow this thing, but you gotta pay us though to learn about ways to improve the podcast."
So review botting.
They haven't taught me that. I'm only on like phase 4 of the program so far.
Like how to do a thumbnail?
No, the first phase was I have to pay them about $1,000 a month for the podcast to help us. Phase 2 was
podcast we make no money on.
But that they said that it would make money eventually, Lexi. That was the big push. They said we're gonna help you make big money. And I went, oh great, like I need this. I'm after losing so much. The second phase was put your money where your mouth is and make sure, like, live the life that you would like to have for your podcast. So, I rented out a full studio in Los Angeles, California. Again, very expensive space for us to record in every single week.
I just want to make sure that I'm understanding this right. So, phase 1 is you give them $1,000 a month. Yes. And then phase 2 is to live the life that you could theoretically be having if you didn't give them $1,000 a month.
They helped me see. See, there's a bunch of these people like this. Camp, you've probably gotten a bunch of emails from people that are like, "Hey, let me help you grow your audience and stuff like that." And it kind of feels like I'm talking to an AI, but I mean, AI is the future. That's what they also told me, that we really need to be focused on AI. So, like, I'm gonna have our new AI companion talk during the whole episode. His name is Kalexgurden. Like, he just wanted to combine all the names into one, like, robot AI name. So, like, it sounds like all of us. Like, guys, isn't this great? Like, this is gonna be great. Like, this is gonna be the best podcast ever, right?
I don't know how to tell you this, so I'll let Lexi do it.
Hello and welcome to the How Could You Forget podcast, a podcast where your hosts Camp, Gurdon, and Lexi talk about a topic not using AI that you maybe have never heard of, have forgotten about, or is simply too good to forget.
That was a great concept for an intro, because the whole time I'm like, oh, it just keeps getting worse.
It's just bad to worse. That's why I'm like, I gotta cut it. People gotta know we're joking.
I was like, damn. As long as it's coming out of your money, like it's whatever. Like I'm not.
Yeah, I'm like, no, thank you. We don't have.
As long as it's not out of the podcast joint account that we all have and share. That's in the negatives.
I was gonna say.
This is the paycheck I pay you from how much money the podcast makes, Camp. But that's coming out of your paycheck, bud. It's coming out of yours.
It's a paycheck, but you're charging us. It's like a reverse paycheck.
An invoice, yes.
So, Gurdon, why did you have us come to the fake podcast studio to get scammed? What was that about?
Fake?
Where are we? But yes, hello. This week, if you couldn't tell by the intro, we are going to be discussing scams, frauds, and also have a general PSA for those listening and watching about some ways to keep yourself safe, as the rules of scamming have really changed over the years, as well as with phone calls and prank calls and such like that. And to just keep yourself safe and to keep up with a lot of these new things that have happened.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about prank calls. Yes.
Maybe.
Is your refrigerator running? We're gonna go catch it.
No, I'm broke and I need to get a new one.
Oh no!
You just follow along very like.
Yeah, I'm so sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
It's hard out there for everyone right now.
Yes. But I thought of this topic from two different ways. The first one was I got one of those spam calls, and I work in a field where sometimes I'm used to having to pick up the call because it still might be a job if you picked up the phone. And so I pick up the phone, but I usually just pick it up and immediately mute my microphone unless it's somebody I know, because they'll usually go like, hello, is this blank? Like, is this Gurdon?
Yeah,
like,
if
hello?
they're real. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they don't want to just talk into an empty microphone. But if it's one of those like robo calls or things like that, if you don't talk, then they don't know what to do. And either they'll just hang up and go, I guess it's a dead line, or you'll hold up their line for longer than like usually that 11 seconds that you get of silence with one of those calls. And they'll take you off the thing because you're wasting their time. And so I did this and I muted it and I just looked at it. But then I got this notification that was like warning on the phone, and it was like known clone voicer or like voice cloner, and I was like, what on earth? And like it gave me that warning, and then it canceled the call for me. Like I had never seen like it closed it on my end, and I was like,
does like Android screen for that now?
I guess so, but that's the thing, is it scared the crap out of me, and so I was like, oh my gosh. And so I, of course, wanted to do a general PSA, but then also I don't want to just be like, hey, this is scary. So we're going to just talk about scams in general as well with that. Because at the same time that happened roughly, I learned about wedding scams, or what they would call wedding planner fraud. Have either of you heard of wedding planner? Oh, that's right. The reason why I even thought of this is because Lexi and I got married and everything was great. And we did not, Jesus Christ.
We did not get scammed.
We did not get
Sorry,
scammed.
that was loud.
Yeah.
But we did not get scammed or anything like that. But I heard about wedding planner scams.
I will say we didn't get scammed, but we did have an incident. Well, I had an incident at the very beginning where I was originally just going to do my own hair and makeup, but I found this makeup artist and saw them where they worked, and they were like, hey, yeah, I work as a makeup artist. I'm like, oh, okay, great. So they were talking to me about products. They showed me a little bit of like kind of what they could do, and I'm like, oh, okay, great. Like, you know, you'll probably have to travel because where I lived was not where we had our wedding. And I was like, you know, are you okay with that? And they were like, yeah, that's totally fine. Like, you don't have to pay any extra for that. Like, I just like to travel and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay, cool. Like, are you sure? Are you sure? And they were like, yeah, I'm sure. I'm
Lexi
like, okay.
made sure multiple times.
Yes. I'm like, okay, that's great. All right, just let me know what you're...
I was going to say, not charging extras for that is really surprising.
It is very surprising.
Because there will be a lot of travel
Yes.
along with that.
So I'm like, okay, great. Well, just let me know what your pricing would be, you know, per person. If you were to just do me, if you were to do, you know, my makeup and then 2 bridesmaids, like what would that be and all that stuff. And so they never really got back to me about that, but they were like, hey, we need to schedule like your trial because for those of you who are not makeup people / maybe have never been in a wedding or just something like that, typically for wedding hair and makeup, they will do a trial a few months before to make sure that you like what they do. So that way you do not get to the day and then they do something and then you're like, this is not it at all. This is, you know, not, it's not looking right or it's not the right products or whatever. So they will do
I was there with you and I knew this information, but still, whoa.
You're right.
I wasn't there and I thought you were going to trial for something else, but it's a good,
yeah, no,
it's good.
I'm
It was
not,
just for
I'm
the
not
wedding.
being tried for crimes. No, they were just trying products on my skin. So they were like, okay, let's get the trial set up. I'm like, okay, great. And they were like, okay, well, I'm going to require $20 down for the trial and $20 down for the wedding date. Okay, that's totally fine. So I send them the $40. Okay. Well, about a month before when my makeup trial was supposed to be, they send me this long-ass ChatGPT generated message that's like, due to unforeseen circumstances and travel costs, I will be requiring additional compensation to travel to complete your appointment, blah, 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 blah. And like, I knew it was ChatGPT because this is not how this person talked at all. They were like very casual, very, yeah, I'll just leave it at that. They were very casual. And then they sent me this ChatGPT response, and I'm like, oh, this is not them. But so basically, I responded to them because when they sent me that long list of, well, I will require additional compensation, they never outlined their compensation. They never said, oh, hey, by the way, actually, I would need for you to pay for my accommodations for the night, or I would ask for gas money, or whatever. Like, they didn't outline any of the things that they were...
Pay more.
Yeah, it was just like, I'm going to need more money. And I'm thinking, okay, well, if you're not even going to give me a range or an idea of what things I'm going to be paying for, screw you. Like, I was like, no, I'm not doing that. Like, if you were worth your salt as a business person, you would say, hey, I am requesting additional compensation for XYZ items or things, you know.
And this was from, like, the makeup artist's address, or are you going to get to that?
Yeah, no, yes, it was from the makeup artist. It was, that's why I said it's not quite a scam. It was more so just like, what the heck is the situation? So they or they send that to me. And so I'm at this point, I'm like, well, it's a month out from my trial, and I don't even know what they're going to ask for. They've been kind of flaky so far. So I'm like, no, I'm just going to tell them, no, hey, I have not budgeted that in. I'm not going to be able to do that, but would you be willing to do my makeup for my engagement photos in a few months? Like, could you do that instead? Because then they wouldn't have to do travel, and they wouldn't have to, pay for all of that stuff. And so I said, hey, would you be open to doing my makeup for my engagement photos? And they were like, oh, okay, yeah, I could do that. Just let me know when it is, blah, blah, blah. And I go, okay. And they actually were like, oh, well, I'll give you back $20 of your dollars since you're not doing your wedding date or whatever. And I go, okay, that's great. And so I only have the $20 payment for what was supposed to be the trial / engagement photo makeup now. And we get to when we're supposed to be having the trial. I hear nothing from them. And I'm like, okay, well, maybe they thought I didn't need a trial anymore because they're not doing my wedding makeup. So maybe they just didn't communicate that to me or whatever. So then I reached out to them and I was like, hey, our trial was supposed to be today. I'm assuming, you're not doing it because you're not doing we're not doing the wedding stuff anymore, but are you still available in like 2 to 3 months for my engagement photos? Heard nothing from them.
Just never heard back.
Never heard back.
Yeah.
What? Why?
So I'm like, this is somebody who's trying to build up a business as a makeup artist. And again, they were good. Like they showed me some of the products when I went to where they worked at. And like it was all great, and they gave me good tips, and I actually bought a couple products because they were able to color match my foundation really well. If you're a makeup person, you'll know what that means. If you don't, it's not that important. But just basically saying like, I knew this person had the skills.
Yeah, they had the know-how.
But I'm like, no wonder they don't have a business doing this, because if you can't even answer somebody and let them know whether you can make it to something, like you're never going to cut it as a business person.
Their only way that also you could like get in touch with them was through Facebook. And on Facebook, they would also just post a very, very personal things. Like I will just be they'd be like, can't wait to get home to my husband and get dirty with him or something like that.
Yeah, it was really
Facebook.
weird.
What?
It was really weird. On the page that they would have people add them to, message them or schedule stuff with them.
Oh my God.
Exactly.
Bro, this made like a business page. Better yet, get a freaking Instagram account.
I know.
That would make the most sense for your bit. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
But also the switch, I immediately got weird vibes when she was like, yeah, I don't mind like crossing multiple state lines at no extra cost. That's whatever. Like, yeah. And then like, I don't, like, it's fine. I would rather you just like be upfront and be like, if you cover my gas or fees or whatever, instead of saying no and then sending a ChatGPT response being like, hey,
months
I want
later.
more money actually.
Yeah.
Months later.
And not even
like,
outlining what you want more money for, because that's the thing.
Or
if
even
she
how
would have
much.
been like,
they didn't even say how much
if
more
she
money.
would have been like, like, hey, due to costs, I would ask that you would cover my hotel for the night. It would be probably $300 or whatever. Like, just throwing something out there for me to go, okay, yeah, I can do that. Or, no, I don't really know if I'm going to be able to do that. Like, they didn't even give me the choice to respond. So I'm like, you're already losing business because you're not even outlining what your terms are. Because honestly, had she been more professional and just said, hey, I realized I told you that I wouldn't mind traveling, but since costs have gone up so much, I don't know if I'm going to be able to afford that. So I'm asking for gas money and, a night at a hotel. I might have been like, oh, okay, yeah, sure.
Oh, okay. Yep, exactly.
But because you weren't professional and you didn't outline what you needed, I was like, no, I'm not even, because I'm like, who knows if she's even going to show up on the day, even if we agreed to that.
If you didn't show up for the trial, exactly. Then
I was going to say, by the end of the story, I would have no faith at that point, honestly.
So that was a little long, but reminder, and maybe Gurdon is going to get to this as well with some of the information that he has, but reminder that if you are doing business with people, always get something in writing, sign a contract, or put something in writing so that way if they flake on you don't get screwed. And anybody who's worth their salt with a business is going to have some sort of form or paperwork that you sign, ensuring your end and their end is protected.
Yeah,
absolutely. And we will absolutely get much more there. Because while I was doing research for these like wedding scams or wedding planner scams and stuff like that, none of you have heard that exact phrase, correct?
No, I didn't know that wedding scams were overarching. I mean, I can assume people got scammed in the industry, but I didn't know about it as a whole.
Okay.
You can turn anything to a scam if you try hard enough.
Oh, genuinely, yes. Absolutely. Like, we could probably do a 3-episode series on scam. By the way, after doing research for this. And so I would like to leave this kind of like, Lexi, thank you very much for telling that story as well. But like this episode, I kind of wanted to talk about, of course, these wedding scams and a bit of research, what I did with that. But then like I've been scammed like twice, and I wanted to talk about that and like even just tell my story and just be like, hey, like it can happen to anybody. And like, if you've been scammed at all, or Lexi as well, there are probably people listening to this right now that are going, well, a wedding is a scam, like laughing about that and stuff like that. Because and in 2018, according to consumernotice.org, the average wedding was $44,000 USD.
Oh my God.
And nowadays, if you look at sources, it says that the average or median by sources like The Knot is closer to about 35,000, but still 35,000 for a party, and that is still crazy. So again, like even if you are doing everything correctly and you are not scamming people, you are not getting scammed, you are not like signing shady business deals, it is quite a bit of money. But whenever you add in bad actors, it can be really bad. Because what made me go down this rabbit hole more than just like, wow, wedding schemes, that's weird, is I was doing research for my next big video, and I heard about James Somerton from the H-Bomber Guy plagiarism video. And James Somerton, after getting kicked off the internet, he tried to come back as a wedding photographer, by the way, if you all didn't know.
Oh my goodness.
I remember. Lexi, did you hear about this?
No. I thought he just got off the internet and fled into the sunset.
Oh, we wish. We would.
So he came back, and if you don't know, he basically plagiarized every single one of his YouTube videos extremely badly. And then H-Bomber called him out. And then everybody that was his supporters, everybody that was like not a supporter, turned on him and was like, hey, you're awful. And so he got bullied off the internet. And so
I did. That shit like stung, actually, because I remember like I wasn't like a big James Somerton fan, but I watched a couple of his videos and thought they were fantastic. So
well, they were, because he just stole the source material.
Because they were written by other fantastic people,
right?
Who I didn't know about.
Exactly, but. After he got bullied, there were a couple, like he tried to make a couple apologies and everybody was like, hey, this is awful, shut the fuck up. Sorry. But he then tried to come back like under the radar as a wedding photographer. But people quickly found it and then found out that all of his photos were also stolen. So he can't even do things correctly and not just steal. And so
we were expecting the stealer to not steal for once. That's crazy.
Crazy.
Shocked face, yes. But this is not a James Somerton only thing. Apparently wedding photographer scams are very common, which really sucks.
That's sad with how expensive they are.
Yeah.
That's sad.
There are apparently so many wedding photographer scams that the Better Business Bureau had to put out a press release warning people to be careful of false or unscrupulous wedding photographers, by the way.
That's wild.
And it is... they had to release a whole thing, and the main way that both the Better Business Bureau as well as consumernotice.org, whenever they mention wedding photographer scams and stuff, is that you will end up paying for a wedding photographer, and either days before your wedding, or in some extreme cases, hours before your wedding, you just won't be able to get in touch with them at all. They will just block your phone number. They will have taken your money, and it's been enough time. And they usually try to do it through things like Cash App or Venmo, so that way you can't then dispute the charges or anything like that. And then they just take off with your money. And one of the cases that I saw,
this is where the always sign a contract. Always sign a contract.
Yeah, something legally binding.
Yep.
Exactly. One of the cases with this that was very, very specific was a woman who had 8 complaints against them and then was charged with fraud. Was that she would go talk with these people, being the wedding photographer, like, I'm going to help you, I'm going to do these things, and then the day before they would message the people, oh my gosh, my daughter was just in a car wreck. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Like, please, oh my gosh, and the people being
Scummy.
Not being heartless are like, oh my gosh, of course, go be with your daughter. Like, this is an actual emergency. And so the lady then multiple times either just didn't send anybody, or she would be like, oh, I can send somebody, like, and they'll be like, oh, like, whatever you can do, like, but you just focus on you. And then she would send another photographer that was the cheapest photographer she could find, and she would pay them like 10% or 25% of the total fee that she would then charge the wedding people, like the people that are getting married.
Oh my gosh.
And in multiple cases, the person was like, they asked the photographer and they were like, oh, I've never shot a wedding before. Or like, oh, this is my second wedding. And stuff like that. And so the photos also end up being awful, as well as the money being like taken. If not just like, if she just doesn't show up also. Like, there's multiple times of that. So
there's a special place in hell for people like that.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, it's obviously bad enough when you're getting scammed and everything, but the fact that she would use such an emotional story to conduct it against people who are also in a very emotionally volatile state. I mean, like, you're getting married. Like, she knows what she's doing. And, my God.
And yes, she
Thankfully,
got charged.
like Gurdon said, we did not have that experience. Our photographer was great.
No.
It was a family friend who has his own business, and we very much signed paperwork, and so he's fantastic. So wanted to be very clear. We did not feel this experience. Really good people. We did not get scammed for our wedding experience.
Exactly. Shout out Lexi's cousin.
Well, no, he's just a family friend. He's not our cousin.
Oh.
Shout out the cousins, though.
He's a cousin to someone, probably.
Oh my goodness.
But one of the other ways that wedding photographers will scam people, by the way, and I think this is it's not worse, but I think it's real close, is they will still do the wedding and they will go through everything. But then whenever it comes time to deliver the photos, they're like, hey, I won't give you these photos unless you pay me basically double what you paid me before.
Oh my God.
Literally holding the photos for that is worse. I feel like that is.
Yeah, because it's like, if they don't even show up, it's kind of like you could maybe fight that and be like, again, I guess if you didn't sign anything though, it's really tough. But yeah, if somebody just supposedly did all your wedding and then was like, oh yeah, I won't release them unless you pay me another $2,000, it's like, what? That's crazy.
That's even worse, because it's like, the photos exist, but like now you just can't have them.
I think the only reason why I didn't think it's worse is because, again, with that example of the lady, that other photographer, they got the photos back and they were awful. And so like with that, you still paid the money. You were still emotionally manipulated, and then you had a subpar product. At least hopefully with this secondary one, even though you're out more money, hopefully the photos are at least better. Like, that's my only hope. Or you at least have
like they
photos
at least
in the end.
Showed up and they did shoot the wedding. So
that's the only way where I kind of can see the emotional side is worse on one, while the financial / like stress is worse on the other. But But we're splitting hairs with that one because there's a lot of scams, by the way. Again, we are
different metrics.
And all of them suck.
Yes, and we are just getting into these scams specifically, even just around like weddings. And when it comes to weddings, this isn't just locked to the photographers, as you mentioned whenever I said wedding planner fraud, as multiple wedding planners have been charged with felony theft for taking thousands upon thousands of dollars. ComputerNotice.org lists a couple of real life examples, and I'm just going to go ahead and read this like paragraph verbatim. Wedding planner fraud. Be careful of who you hire to plan your wedding. Weddings can cost a lot of money, and unscrupulous planners can make off with a small fortune and ruin your big day. That's exactly what happened to Sean and Lauren Bernetter. I think that's what it says. The Chicago couple ended up paying Tamika Jones more than $30,000 for a catered loft wedding in 2018, according to CBS 2. But 9 days before their nuptials, they received a letter from Jones saying she was filing for bankruptcy. Just days before they received that letter, Jones had tried to get them to pay her another $18,000, according to the couple.
Oh my gosh.
They were almost forced to cancel their wedding, but family members pitched in and found another venue so they could still have their ceremony. And sadly, this scenario is more common than one might think, as in 2016, authorities in Monroe County, Florida, arrested a wedding planner who had scammed two couples out of money that was supposed to have gone towards their wedding at an Isla Morada resort. And then one final one in this quote still. Wow. In 2017, an Orlando couple told the local news that a wedding planner they had met at an expo, like a literal wedding expo.
Oh, yeah.
Had taken 17 grand from them, but never paid for a venue or promised services. The con artist disappeared 3 days before the couple walked down the aisle. End quote, finally. Like,
it's like a whole industry.
So here's the thing that I find a little, like, especially fishy about these scenarios or whatever. Wedding planners can be very helpful. I'm not trying to like dog on all wedding planners because, again, I've known some really good ones. We didn't use one. I did most of it. And then we had a wedding coordinator that she was the one that owned the venue that we were at. And she kind of doubled doing different things. So she was fantastic. But what I will say is that if you're going to get an outside wedding planner that is not affiliated with a venue, or, you know, you're not going to do it with, you know, your family members or friends or whatever, I fail to see why your wedding planner would be the one paying the money to the venue. Like, I would think that it would still need to be you and your spouse or your future spouse. You guys would be the ones to sign the contract, like to protect yourselves.
Make the transaction.
Yes. I could see you sending a wedding planner to do research or to go meet with these venues and say, hey, do you offer this, and this? You know, because maybe the couple can't tour 10 venues or whatever. But once a venue is selected, I would think that you would want the couple to show up, at least one of them, to sign that contract. If I were a wedding planner, I don't think I'd be wanting to put my name signing that contract.
Yeah, because that's putting yourself on the line.
Yeah,
like as the wedding planner.
That just feels like a big liability. So
So Lexi, you're saying this, and thank you very much for setting up me with this 1-2 punch here. The main reasons why this happens is because, as you said, people don't know better. And so they assume, hey, the money goes through the wedding planner and then she pays or they pay, whatever. Sorry, not trying to gender wedding planners. They pay the venues and stuff like that. And a lot of people that they don't know this, what they will end up doing, and this is on that consumernotice.org as well as the Better Business Bureau as well, is that these fraudsters will say, hey, if you could just write out a check for $7,500, we'll say, and if you want to put in the memo like wedding planner or like venue or whatever, but just leave the name blank. Hell no. Nope, that name of that venue is going on my check if I'm giving it to somebody to deliver. Nope, you do not get a blank check from me.
Okay, Liz, I'm assuming you'll give more... I'm assuming you'll give more context, and this is not a defense of any scammers at all. Scammers are terrible people. But if you do this, it's natural selection. I'm sorry. Like, that's...
I knew that's exactly where you were going to go.
Way. There's no way.
Yeah, always put the name of the recipient on the check. If you're having somebody else deliver a check, it needs to go to.
And do not hand it off, even if it's
New York
like
wedding
a small
venue.
Check.
Yeah,
just do not hand it off to a random person who you have like a legal financial relationship with.
So you guys are both absolutely correct, and this is it's one of those things of everything could look above board and actually like, oh hey, like I have like 100 ratings on Google and XYZ thing and yada yada yada, and like let me help you with all this stuff, and like everything could be looking perfect, but the second that something like this happens, like it should be ringing every alarm bell in your entire brain of like, don't do this. And like Camp said, I feel bad for people that fall for this because, again, especially a lot of people our age and especially younger people don't know about checks. Like they were not taught how checks work, how like all of that like ends up doing shit. And while yeah, sure, you might like, oh, hey, like I'm helping pay for this service. Like, yeah, they're just going to take your money. And like, unless you trust these people, or again, as Lexi and Campus said as well, like, unless you have a legally binding contract that protects both parties, don't do things that will screw you over and like that feel bad. Like,
I want to give a general announcement that it is always in your best interest to operate off CYA. Cover your ass. Signing a contract with somebody, like, you know, if you have a wedding planner, it is in your best interest and that wedding planner's best interest to have everything lined out and you sign a contract because it covers both of your asses. So
yes,
in a situation, if you feel like, this doesn't seem right, this doesn't seem like this person's covering their ass, I don't have enough covering my ass to feel safe or feel good about this, then it is definitely worth questioning.
Yeah,
trust your gut.
Absolutely. Yep. It's just very sad, as we know, because again, people don't deserve to be scammed. Like again, I think that was very funny, Camp, of like it's not, and it is to a degree natural selection of like, hey, you've kind of done a dumb thing here, and it's not exactly your fault, but like there are certain things with finances.
Hopefully you learn from this.
Yeah, there are definitely certain things,
and also as well. Like, yeah, I'm assuming you're going to get into this, but it's also like, this is talking, like, we're talking about in the context of a wedding, too, when you're already stressed and planning all this stuff and you're looking for any help whatsoever, that you might not even put that much thought into how this could bite you in the ass, because you're just like, okay, if you take care of this, then that's fine by me, you know,
exactly.
but that sort of thing, which it's a hard lesson to learn, but you know, sometimes you got to learn it.
Absolutely. And I did want to say, I told you all earlier, as well as the audience, that like I have been scammed twice, and in very, very different ways. And like, I was scammed, and it's a very dumb thing, but I was scammed out of like CSGO skins like probably 10 years ago now. And I remember how dumb I felt and how angry I was, and there was no recourse. And like the second that it happened, and I was like, oh crap, I just lost what at the time was like a $400 CSGO skin. And it's probably worth a lot more now. But like, maybe it's a good thing I got scammed because it got me out of like Counter-Strike and that gambling and stuff like that. But like in that moment when you are dealing with very scummy individuals and very bad stuff like that, you get this very bad feeling, and then the second that it hits, that pit in your stomach just goes, oh my gosh, like I lost. It could be something as small as like, again, like your lunch, like, oh, I lost my lunch money, or oh, I lost this thing. Like you still feel that like, oh wow, I have just been like, yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then even much more recently, and it's why I wanted to also do kind of more of a PSA with this stuff of, I was scammed like a month ago, or maybe it's 2 months ago now.
It was a couple months ago. Yeah.
So a few months back, Lexi went grocery shopping, and she came back home and was talking about how expensive like the Arizona tea had gotten for their like big 12-pack crate. And I was like, well, I always thought Arizona tea was like kind of cheap. Like, okay, like let me look this up.
Their whole marketing thing.
Yeah. And so I pulled out my phone and I just looked up Arizona tea on Google and clicked on the top result. Because again, like I go into this expecting, and again, it says like Arizona tea store.
Camp
and so Camper already knows where this one's going. But I click on that top one and it takes me to like an Arizona tea like splash page, and it's just like, hey, like merch, like tea, cans, stuff like that. And I go like, okay, let me look and see how much these like crates of tea are. And I look through and there's like a sale on like most things are like 30 to 40% off. And so I go like, oh, cool. Like I love myself tea. Like this is a very known thing for probably decades at this point. Like I love tea and I love like beverages. And so I go like, oh crap, like I'll get some tea. And so I go through there. And the
website did look exactly.
Oh yeah. I mean, they probably just like, sorry, spoilers.
You're
spoilers.
I haven't heard this story. I just know exactly where this is going.
Yes. So yes, Camp's already figured out, and I'm assuming y'all do when I said I got scammed. But so I added up a bunch of things, and like Lexi picked out a couple things, and we're like, okay, cool. Like it'll end up being like $40, and like we'll just get some tea and this and stuff, and oh hey, free shipping and stuff. And so we put in our address, put in the credit card, and I hit order. And the second I hit order, I was like, wait a second, and like because it gave me like a slash page that did not feel like an Arizona like, hey, thank
like
you for your
Visa
order.
Verification or something.
Yeah, it was like Visa verification, and I was like, that doesn't seem right. Like, why would they need to do that? Like, and so like I quickly like hit X on that thing so it would stop loading, and then I looked at the top. And the URL at the top of my phone screen was Azarona Tzor with like 3 S's. And I'm like, what on, like, and I was like so upset. And I was like, I immediately ran to my computer and Lex was like, what's wrong? And so I was like, I think I just got scammed. And
I was like, what?
Yes, like Lexi had seen it too, and like unless you literally looked up there, and again they had swapped the Z and the R in Arizona, and then added an extra T in between the word T and store, like, and so it was just like, and I was like freaking out, and I locked my card, but they had already like stolen like $50, which again was not as bad as it could have been, and I called up.
Thankfully, it was his credit card. That's the other thing. If you have a credit card, always use your credit card for online purchases.
Yeah, because they will. The credit card company does not want their money stolen because that was technically what was stolen.
They care more about that than your debit card. So.
Exactly. Right. And so, like, yes, at the very, I hit back and legitimately, I typed in Arizona tea, and the very top result was a sponsored result. So these scammers,
there it is,
paid Google. Yes, Camp knows, and y'all people probably know the whole time I was telling that story of.
You just funded their advertising budget.
Yes, I did. I funded $50 worth of their advertising, and so they could scam more people by like people like me that literally typed in Arizona tea. It was above the Arizona tea store website. Like that is how scummy and how bad it is. And like I of course knew for like years and years and years and years, like, oh, always make sure that it's not that one. But again, like I'm a millennial, and so I'm on my phone and I'm like, hey, like my phone, sure. Like I feel. Yeah, like whatever, like whatever excuse I need to sleep better at night, but like still.
Well, and I will say that again, the website was a direct rip. They had just copied it. The flash sale thing looked very legit.
Yeah, it sounds like they just copied like the entire website, except for when you go to pay, it just directs to them instead.
Yeah. It was very much like that.
Exactly. And again, I always will hold on to that fact that it was legitimately above, because it's that thing of the sponsored like things whenever you look it up. It was above the Arizona tea. And again, I got scammed and I had to call my credit card company and they had to do a full investigation, and I didn't have my credit card for like 2 weeks or like 10 days or some crap like that. Like really annoying. And then also like Camp already said and already knew, the 2 charges were 2 charges to Gen AI credits. So they literally stole my money.
Oh my goodness.
And then spent it on AI.
No!
And so, not just another reason I hate AI, because I don't need more, but like, they dead-ass stole money from me to spend it on AI. Like,
oh my gosh.
So...
But
another fantastic use that AI has given to the...
Oh my goodness. He did report that to Arizona, the actual company, and their IT department was like, hey, thank you very much for alerting us about this.
And they got in contact with legal.
Thank gosh.
Yeah, so they did a legal. And then Arizona, again, I love Arizona tea, and not just trying to be like, woo, Arizona, but like, they even sent me some coupons for my trouble, and I was like, that's very, very nice.
Yeah.
So,
aww.
Yeah, so I'm still a fan of Arizona. They have the Rizzler tea and stuff like that right now, which is very funny, but
they also have Bodega Cat plushie is very cute.
Okay. Yes. Oh, I thought you were about to say they have Bodega Cat flavored tea, and I was like,
no, it's a little Bodega Cat plushie that has the Arizona pattern on it. It's like the pink
that's cute.
It's very cute. So
with that, and with a lot of these talks of like scams and stuff like that, I'm going to leave the floor open to you all, but I do want to at least tell people again that like this can happen, as we know, to anybody. And with these things, and whenever I started this all off of, I very much am very like worried and like try not to interact with like spam calls. Cause again, like you could sit there and like, yeah, you have like, is it Kit Boga? Is that guy's name that does all the like tries to waste a bunch of scammers' time, and like he'll waste like literally 18 hours straight of somebody's time in multiple days and stuff like that.
My mom hates when she gets scam calls from call centers, and I got to tell this story because it is so funny. She likes to troll the call centers. So one time a year or two ago, she got a call from a call center, and it was this guy pretending to be Microsoft. And my mom, thankfully, knows that Microsoft is not going to call you. So she answers the thing, and the guy goes, "Yes, I'm calling from Microsoft." And she goes, "Oh, okay, like what's wrong?" And he's like, I need you to go to your computer because you have a virus or you're at risk or something. My mom goes, "Oh, okay." So she's just sitting in her office chair. She's not actually on her computer, but she's sitting in her office chair. She's like, "Okay, well, where do I go?" And he goes, "Okay, well, are you on your computer?" And she's like, "Yeah." He's like, "Well, you're going to go down to this, start button, and you're going to type this thing or whatever." So she just like hits her space bar on her keyboard. And she goes, "Okay." And he's like, "Okay." And then you see this? And she's like, "I'm not seeing it." He's like, "Okay, well, we'll click this and do you see this?" And she's like, "No, I'm not seeing it. Where am I looking?" And he's like, "Well, it should be like right in the middle of your screen." And she's like, "I'm not seeing anything." And he's like, "It should be right in the middle of your screen. You idiot." And she's like, "No, you're the idiot." And she hangs up the phone. And then there was one time they tried to scam her by calling her from her quote unquote cable company. They don't have one. And the lady's like, "Yes, ma'am, I'm calling you from your cable company and you have, unsettled bills and all this stuff." And she goes, "Oh my gosh, I do? What? Why do I have an unsettled bill?" And the lady's like, "Well, you just do. You just have money you haven't paid." And my mom's like, "Well, who are you again? Who is my cable company?" And the lady's like, "Spectrum," or whatever. I don't know what one she said. And my mom goes, "Wrong," and hangs up the phone. So she gets very fed up with that, but she doesn't understand how when it is those like robo AI calls, we've told her like, "Mom, don't say anything, like mute the phone, because when you say stuff they are recording your voice." And she just doesn't. Aww. She just doesn't understand that one. But it was really funny when she just was like, "Wrong," and hung up the phone on the call center.
Wrong is such a power move. I love it so much.
So my mom is trying not to get scammed out in this world.
There we go. Absolutely.
Let's go. Yeah, so if you ever have doubts, just follow Lexi's mom's example. Just do a minor amount of trolling.
Exactly. And that's the thing about it is like, I remember what started all that off when I started talking about this was, my phone literally said like possible voice cloner and then hung up. And like
that's interesting.
That made me
I hadn't heard of that.
That made me quit cold turkey in like a second. Like I was like, like I will literally only either never answer these calls again, or I will always answer in the millisecond I turn it on, hit mute in case that it is anything that I might need to hear. Cause like, I don't want to. So
interestingly enough, about the voice cloning, I did want to share also, this was years ago. Gosh, this was probably maybe like 8 years ago, 7-8 years ago, when my grandma was alive. She got a phone call from somebody that was saying, "Hey, your grandson has been in an accident." And she only has one grandson. That's my brother. But your grandson has been in an accident, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, "Well, can you give me any like details?" Like she wasn't really falling for it because, again, my grandma and like our family, like we were really close with her. So if something were to happen, we would have called her directly and told her. So this random person on the phone is like, "Oh yeah, your grandson was in a car accident." And she's like, "Well, where? Like what happened?" And the person was just like, "Well, he was just in an accident and like, he needs help and blah, blah, blah. And like he needs money." And my grandma was like, "Yeah, okay." And then hung up the phone for that person. and then called my mom and said, hey, somebody just tried to call me saying that my grandson was in an accident. I only have one grandson. Like, is everything okay? And my mom's like, yeah, we're fine. Like, and my grandma was like, I thought so, because I'm sure that you would be the first call letting me know that something happened. So, like, I just wanted to check and make sure. And so we were like, oh my gosh, that's crazy. Because, like, imagine if we weren't close with my grandma and she didn't know. And, what if she thought that was real? It's just ridiculous.
Yeah. Sorry, Camp, were you going to say something? I didn't mean to interrupt you if you were.
Oh, no, I was just doing the thing where I agree.
Okay.
Agreed.
Because again, when I was doing a bunch of research for this, and especially with that, like, it's already one of those things, like I said, that was 8 years ago. And that is what is known as the grandparent scam, which again, I pulled up a list. Just giving y'all a heads up, Wikipedia has a very thorough list of probably 100 scams, by the way. And I was going to get through a bunch of those because there's a lot. But yeah, the grandparent scam is a very, very well-known one, where people will just try to call you and act like either something like your grandson, or the opposite also is a thing that is done of they'll call parents or they'll call like children and say, oh, your grandma or grandpa was injured and like she really needs help, she's at the hospital, like, but we need money to help like pay for XYZ things. Like, it works both ways, and it's really sad because, again, if you don't have a very close connection, or for whatever reason if you can't get in touch with them, then a lot of people fall for that. And it's
and it's a bummer too, because if you have a grandparent that lives by themselves, then sorry, baby's trying to get in my door and scared me. If you have a grandparent who lives by themselves and somebody calls like impersonating the hospital or something, it's like you don't know if that's legit or not, because you might be like, okay, I need more details or I need more information to believe that this is actually, General Hospital calling me about my grandparent. But I could totally see that if your grandparent lives alone, there might actually be a hospital calling you someday, but they're never going to ask you for money. They're never going to call you up and go, yeah, but you got to give us $1,000 or else your grandparent will die. Like, no, that is, even in America where our health system is, whatever. Not even going to go on that rant, but they're not going to be like, yes, give us $1,000 or else your grandma gets unplugged. Like, that's not how it's going to go.
Yeah. It's not, most doctors or receptionists at hospitals handle stuff with a little bit more decorum than being like, hey, yo, your grandma gonna be dead soon.
Hi, I'm so-and-so from General Hospital. I'm calling on behalf of your grandmother. Like, they're not just going to be like, give us money.
So any future scammers out there, if you want some advice on how to make it more realistic,
oh my gosh,
you go.
No.
There we go.
You will get hit with so many felonies. Do not even try.
That is very true. Like, find the piece of your heart that's broken, and if you can't, also remember that you will probably go to jail for a while.
Yeah.
Lamau.
So I did want to, so I told stories. I don't know if either of you have been personally even closely scammed or fully scammed at all, because again, as we know, back in the day with like even computer viruses and stuff like that, of like
I've gotten many a computer virus.
Yes. But I didn't know if either of y'all had anything, and if y'all don't, I entirely understand. But
I don't really have like a lot, to be honest. Well, I mean, there was a time when I was like, basically, like when I was in college, like the last year of college, roughly, I was like 20, 21 maybe at the time.
21.
Ever since I started living in the 21, yeah. I was living in like a city at the time, and every time I see like a homeless person or whatever who's asking for change, I tend to give them like money as opposed to just food, because it's like, with the money they can actually like do more shit that they would want to do, as opposed to me treating it like a fucking petting zoo. Sorry, but that is my thoughts. I'll elaborate on those later. But basically, I had a situation where I didn't have any money, and someone was like, "Yo, I just need help getting like a train ticket or like doing this or whatever. And like, if you give me your info, I can like, as in like contact info, I can like pay you back the money like once I'm there or whatever." And I'm like, you know what? You seem nice. You seem very friendly. Why not? So I think it was like $60 or something like that he needed. So I did that and I gave it to him, and then after. And then after an hour, I started thinking more about it, and I'm like, I don't think this dude's gonna pay me back. all I did was like give him like email alias or whatever, and then like send him on his way after I got money out of an ATM. It's like I'm pretty sure I'm not seeing that money again. And it was annoying too. And I did some research, and I can't even like report or like try to get the money back or whatever, because technically it wasn't even fraud because I willingly gave him the money.
Right.
Like, it was just, so it's just like, no, but that's the biggest one, I think, for me. Other than, this wasn't really a scam, but I do remember one time where I left my debit card in a reader at one point by mistake.
Oh, yeah.
And then I woke up the next morning and I had like, $120 drained from my account.
Yeah,
and I'm like,
I've had my
cool.
credit card skimmed before.
Yeah.
That's it for me. There's a couple that I have that, again, I wouldn't have immediately classified as scams, but whenever you told that story, it made me think of as my ex was very like lost stuff. There's a word for that when you lose stuff, like a lot.
Very forgetful. Inconsiderate.
Yes, very forgetful. Oh, okay.
That's applied specifically to your ex, not other people who are forgetful.
Yeah.
But specifically the part of forgetting things and like losing them and stuff like that. And for example, I was engaged to this ex, and they lost their engagement ring twice, and like for lost it twice. So yes, that level of forgetful. But one of the times, they went to like a gas station, I think it was what it was, and they happened to like drop not their credit card or debit card, but their like health savings account card, which again I didn't know was an actual like credit card looking thing.
It's a debit card. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it looks like a debit card, and so they dropped it outside of this gas station, and they went on their merry
also,
way.
let's pause really quick. Camp, do you know what a health savings account is? I realize...
I don't.
Okay.
No.
So I realize we probably have a lot of audience that might not be American and might not know what that is. So because our healthcare system is absolutely whack, employers typically can offer what is called a health savings account, where you can put money away from your check, or just really at any point you can put money towards it if you want. Put money towards this card/account that is specifically for health related items. So, for example, if you work somewhere where maybe they don't have vision insurance, but you have glasses, or you need to get, eye exams or something, you could put money away into this health savings account, which you actually get a debit card for. And so then if I want to go get an eye exam, I can use my health savings account, because that is a qualifiable health purchase, to use that money for glasses, for the exam, for prescription medication at a pharmacy. So that's what that
So it's not
is.
actually covering anything. It's just taking money from a different account.
It's money that you've put away for specific health expenses into that account, so that you can use
so it's
it
like
on
a savings account.
Yeah, it's basically
not.
a savings account. Yeah.
But it's only usable on medical things.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Like, so for example,
Neat.
with this story here, whenever my ex lost that card, some random person found it, and they walked back into the gas station and tried to buy stuff with it, and it didn't work. And so they walked in, tried to buy
your Talkies and your Mountain Dew is not a health expense.
Yes. But they tried to buy.
Could be, depending on how many you eat. But,
True. But they actively tried to do that, and then they were just like, yeah, sorry. Like, the person at the thing was probably like, yeah, this is a health savings card. This card doesn't work. Sorry, pay for this some other way. And so this person like walked away further and then just threw the card on the ground again. And somebody else who was an actual nice person found the card and then contacted her through Facebook. That was like, hey, I think I found one of your cards on the ground. Like, and then
that was
actually
nice.
was nice and did that. Absolutely. So like that's one of those cases where, again, like, that's not a scam, it's just somebody being an asshole. But like, then there was a nice person in the end, and luckily, again, it was just an HSA card, so again, there's literally no use outside of my ex
because you
getting
have to
healthcare.
typically like provide additional information when you use that card, like at the pharmacy or on eyeglasses or something like that. You don't just go, here my card. Like, you typically have to provide more information than just that.
Absolutely. And Camp, when you were talking about like helping somebody and stuff like that, like when you see somebody like, hey, here's some money and stuff like that, is I don't know if I just have a very approachable face, and I think I probably do, and I probably don't look like much of a threat. And so I remember I was like, two stories, and then I'll move on to something else. One time I went to go pick up food for our office or something like that, and whenever I got there, somebody approached me and was like, hey, could I get a ride somewhere? And again, I was like, yeah, sure, I don't care. Like, it's as long as it's not very far, like, I can give you a ride. Like, where do you need to go? And they were like, oh, I want to go to this gas station that's like a mile away. And I went, okay. And so I picked them up, and I picked up the food, and I put it in like in the back seat or whatever. And this lady was like, all right, it's that way. And so just okay, cool. Start driving her there. Halfway through, she goes, oh crap, I forgot something back at where you picked me up. Can you take me back? And I went like, oh, okay. Like, I don't have much time, but like, sure, I'll take you back. So took them back. They left like a can of soda. And I was like, not trying to be mean, but like, oh, okay, you made me come all the way back for this can of soda. All right, cool.
Like, I'll just give you the money to get another drink at the gas station for that time.
Well, if they would have told me, but they didn't. And so I was like, okay. And so then they were like, all right, cool. Can we go back to that? It's a gas station called On Q. Like, oh, can you take me to that On Q? Cool. So I get them to the On Q and I like park and I'm like, all right, here you go. Like, have a good day or whatever. And they were like, no, like, wait for me. Like, I need to go somewhere else. And I went, I'm not going to wait for you. Like, you asked for
taxi.
You asked for a ride to the gas station. Like, I'm not going to wait for you. And then she's like, are you serious? And I went like, yeah, I'm not going to wait for you. Like, what are you talking about? And then she slammed my door and I'm like, how am I the asshole? Like, I felt so like, what on earth? Like, I actively already went back to help this person, drove them there. And then I was like, hey, I'm not going to just be a taxi service, like you said, for some random person.
See, the problem that I have where camp, I'm actually in the opposite boat of you of I typically don't give money. I typically do try to give water or food because where we live at, panhandling is legal and a lot of people exploit that. And so you never really know who is, and I'm not saying somebody has to be legit, but you know what I mean? Like, you don't really ever know, am I helping somebody that's on hard times or am I helping somebody who's trying to just exploit the system?
There's a guy in our city who actively, they've done a report on him. He makes $80,000 a year from panhandling, like because he has crutches.
Jesus, okay.
And so like I try to, I donate when I can to local organizations that I have looked into that do a lot of work in the community to help people. And then, if I do have water in my car,
there have been people that have come up to you, Lexi, though, and you've been like, here you go, here's some money. Like, we're not saying that she's never...
it was outside of a store. There was a woman that was sitting and she's like, hey, I just need some money for food. And I gave her $20. I was like, here, so there are times where I have given people money. I'm just a lot more cautious about it, especially when people are standing by the sides of the road and like on the ramps and stuff like that to get on the highway, because a lot of the times I'm by myself as well. And so I'm not going to roll my window down or open my door for somebody if I'm by myself.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's very different in that case as well because it's like I'm big and tall and a dude.
Right.
So,
I was gonna say like, I think it's also like if you're. Yeah, I think honestly, camp. Yeah, if I looked like you, I probably would be more inclined to open my door or something. But somebody could easily yank me out of my car and I'd be done. So
yes.
So I get
but I still do I still do wish to help people. All that being said, I do try to donate to very good causes when I am able to. So I'm not heartless. I promise. I promise everybody.
So speaking of how heartless I will be, so one day I was broke for a lot of time, and I remember I pulled up to this guy, and he was just playing guitar at one of those like stoplights, and I was like, "Cool, dude." And he's like, "Hey, man, can I have some money?" And I was like, "I have literally no money. Like, I am probably as broke as you are, man." But he's like, "I got a cream soda. You want a cream soda?" And he was like, "Yo, I haven't had a cream soda in forever." Like, he was so hype. And he was just like, "Oh my gosh, thank you. Like, do you got a song you want to hear?" And I was like, "I don't, man. I'm so sorry." But like,
play whatever makes you happy.
And I was like, "You have a good day." And he's like, "Thank you." But he looked like a kid in a candy store, like, "Yo, a cream soda." Like, it was so funny to me.
Oh, that's awesome. That's wholesome.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I have a lot of
random. That's the reverse of a scam.
Oh yeah, I have a bunch of random things like that. Like I remember I drove home. Sorry, we're getting way off track, but it's our podcast. We can talk about random stories. But I remember I was driving home one night because I worked on set, so for like movies and television, and you usually work 12 to 14-hour days when you're doing that. And I remember I was driving home one night, and I happened to drive through a alcohol checkpoint or like a whatever checkpoint where they check to see if you're drinking.
Oh
and stuff.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I remember the guy, the cop pulled me over and he's like, "You have anything to drink tonight, son?" And then I looked down and I had been drinking like a Monster, and I was like, "I've been drinking like a Monster. Like, is that anything?" And he just like, whenever you try not to show people that you're laughing, so you like cover your mouth and like, and he's just like,
"Oh my gosh.
Okay, like, have a good night. Get out of here." Like,
yeah. So, he's like, "This guy ain't drunk. He's just a loser."
Yeah. Hey.
He's just a dweeb.
I'm a weirdo. But yes, also, it's very, very funny. If you couldn't tell, the putinyoursocialsecurity.com website that I own is, of course, supposed to look like a scam. Like, that's the joke for anybody that is wondering, or why the episode is called putinyoursocialsecurity.com.
It looks like it should be a scam, and it's very much not. He bought the domain.
And I originally had it planned to like have a landing page and stuff like that, and you could like mess around or like put in random numbers or some random thing like that. But I just have it redirect to my Patreon for now. So if you are a supporter with that, thank you so very much. But just wanted to explain that for anybody that I'm not actually scamming you. If the podcast ever gets to be like, wow, we have people that want a merch of our faces or some random crap, like I'd probably put it up on that website because that'd be funny, of our merch site being putinyoursocialsecurity.com.
Right.
But I did want to mention a couple scams, by the way, from this Wikipedia page that has 100 scams on, and I wanted y'all's opinions of.
Oh no.
One of these right here is called salting, or salting the mine. I don't know if y'all have heard of that one.
Salting the mine.
Yes.
Is this Minecraft? I
have not.
It is not Minecraft. No, dear. In which scam artists would take gemstones or gold ore and would load them into shotgun shells and would shoot the shotgun shells full of gemstones and gold ore into the walls of the mine. And so that way it looked like there was a gold vein, or that there was gemstones like in the walls of the mine.
Oh, in order for people to be like, hey, there's gold down here. And
yeah, so then you could sell the land for a lot more if there was gold and gemstones. Yep.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, that seems kind of like an elaborate plan, but no, I think it works.
I was going to say,
I've never heard of that. But.
No, and it's like, there's a whole bunch of these that I was like, of course
that
they
was
talk
back
about.
In the prospector days, I'm sure.
Yes, exactly. Like that's one of the things is like the Nigerian prince scam that you've probably heard of mentioned. Was originally the Spanish prisoner scam, by the way. Yeah,
Isn't that just like the emails where it would be like, you are related to this person and they need your money?
It's not usually related, no.
Oh, okay.
It's usually, again, for the original one, the Spanish prisoner was like, oh, hey, I'm a Spanish prisoner, and I'm super, super, super rich, but I'm jailed, and if you can help me get access to my money, then when I'm free, I'll pay you a bunch of money, basically.
Oh, okay.
Yes. And so by the time that, of course, you send any money, they're not actually, of course, a Nigerian prince or a Spanish prisoner at all.
They're not? What?
No. But apparently what I didn't know about this scam is that apparently specifically the old Spanish prisoner would be linked to catfishing, which again is a much more modern term. Of like, oh hey, like I think I'm falling in love with you, like especially if it was a woman, of like, oh I think I'm falling in love with you, and like I would get a boat for you to come back to Spain and we would live the rest of our lives in luxury and stuff like that as well. Because again, back then, yeah, you're not gonna have like FaceTime or photos or anything. So just one of those.
Such a blessing and a curse.
Exactly. Yeah. So another one of these that I read and I was like, this is so elaborate. And again, Camp, you're absolutely correct that I was like, how did this even exist? Was called the fiddle game. So I'm just going to read a lot of this directly from Wikipedia, so it's very easily explained. Is a pair of con men work together, one going into an expensive restaurant, in eating and doing this stuff like this, and he goes, oh no, darn, I don't have money to pay for this meal. And the people go like, well, you're gonna pay for the meal somehow. And he goes, darn, I guess I'll leave my really expensive violin with you.
Oh my goodness. This is so Saul Goodman. Yeah. So Jimmy. If any of you guys have seen Better Call Saul, that the second I heard that, I'm like, oh my goodness, that's Jimmy was doing shit like this.
So apparently, after he goes like, I'll leave my violin with you, like it's the only thing I have, and it's a really rare violin. And then like, oh okay, and they take it as collateral, and that first guy leaves, and then a second guy comes in and goes like, hey, like that's a world's most expensive brand of violin ever. Like that's probably worth like $50,000. Like,
oh my goodness.
And the person goes like, oh my gosh, it is? And he goes like, yeah, that's a really expensive violin. Like, oh, okay. And so after the second guy leaves, he runs off and leaves a card saying like, hey, I will come back and pay this $50,000 for this violin. Like, just please hold on to it. Please hold on to it. And the second guy leaves, and when the first guy comes back, he's gotten enough money to pay for the food, if that's like, again, $25 or whatever. And he's like, hey, here's my money for the violin. Like, I'll take my violin I'll take my violin back now, please. And the person at the restaurant would then think that, well, I'm about to make 50 grand off of this violin, because the second guy just offered me 50 grand. And so when they give it back the violin, he's like, hey, I'll buy that violin from you for like $1,000. And the first guy will be like, no, like, it's my violin. Like, I'm not going to sell it for $1,000. And he goes like, all right, about $2,500. Oh, okay, sure. You know what? I'll sell it to you for $2,500. Sure. That would really help me get back on my feet. And so the person, the mark, as they're called, would then be like, awesome, cool, I'm gonna make $47,500 off of this violin. And then, this is
not really spoilers, but they do this with a Rolex in Better Call Saul.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
And so then eventually the first guy leaves again with $2,500, and the guy's like, all right, cool, the violin buying guy's gonna come back any minute now, and I'm gonna be rich. And then of course the second guy never comes back. So
yeah.
Oh my goodness.
The whole time I was listening, I was wondering where the money would be coming from. Like, how was it like a full scam? But no, it makes sense.
It does. Goodness. It's wild.
Wow.
So now that you know some tips on how to not get scammed, you should go over to what is totally not a scam and put in your socialsecurity.com and become one of the patrons for Gurdon's Patreon. We also have Camp's Patreon. Thank you to everybody who is already a patron over there. We appreciate your support. That's why we're able to even do this and talk about scams, because you're not getting a scam. You are getting the love and support of us, and we are able to do this and entertain you. So it's a win-win. It's a win-win.
Yeah.
Yay. Thank you all so very much for listening and being here with us.
As always, if you have any ideas...
sorry.
Yes.
I meant to say, at the very end of the episode, if you've made it this far, thank you so very much. Next episode will be episode 50 of our podcast, which is a big number. Basically 2 years of this podcast going on as we do this every fortnight. And next week's episode, or next fortnight's episode, will be How Could You Forget Your First Concert? As we will be discussing our first concerts in general, as Lexi will be going to her first concert between now and next episode. So, if you would like to
have a panic attack,
yay! So, if you in the audience have any stories about your first concerts, music festivals, or your favorite concerts or whatever, or even some tips, please be sure to comment those down below and share those, and we'll try to read a couple off next time that we record. So, wanted to mention that before I forgot. Sorry, I almost missed it.
Alrighty.
All good. We're still waking up.
Thanks, y'all, and look behind you. Don't get scammed.
Don't get scammed. Trust your gut.
Oh my God, there's a scammer right behind me. Oh.